What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers continue to stay busy in their crazy offseason, one of the craziest we can recall in a long time. I've got all the coverage about the Pittsburgh Steelers QB signings and all the recent, people they've let go, who they brought in from free agency, all these things. And Pittsburgh still has some noticeable gaps in their roster. They have some notable things they have to improve upon as we head into the draft now. The draft is about 3.5 weeks away. So Pittsburgh still has some holes, and they are staying active in this video to provide depth to our roster. Pittsburgh, in the last 72 hours, has signed 4 more free agents, and I'm going to bring you guys kind of who they are, what their stats are, what their experience level is, and kind of where they fit on this roster. Because it's a lot of pretty interesting depth pieces. Not a lot of splashy names, but a lot of notable bodies that have been around for a while that can fill some notable spots. So let's talk about the 4 signings Pittsburgh has just made. And if you guys want any draft position coverage, any free agency coverage outside of this, it's all on my channel. I'm filming 2 videos today, but the first is covering these 4 free agents we just brought in the last 2 days. And the first of those is former Philadelphia Eagle Quez Watkins. Pittsburgh brings in Quez Watkins, the speedster that was drafted 4 years ago for Philadelphia. And let me talk to you guys about kind of what his stats are and where he fits. Now, this one's a bit puzzling to me. I don't really understand the need for this signing. We already signed Van Jefferson, who had played previously for Atlanta and a few other teams. And Van Jefferson was kind of going to be that 4th receiver, the big body outside guy who can be a deep threat, who can block, things like that. Quez Watkins kind of is a cross between a Van Jefferson and a Calvin Austin, right? So his biggest attribute in a positive sense is his speed. Quez Watkins can fly. He's a big body dude who can really fly downfield. He's played so far 4 years in the NFL, all in Philadelphia. And in those 4 years, he has played in 49 games. 25 of those are starts. He started 25 games in Philadelphia. And he has 98 catches, 1,249 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Now again, Quez Watkins has some size, and he has positional flexibility. He can play on the outside like he did in his younger seasons. He can play in the slot as well. He's very quick. He's got some size for a guy that fast. The positive for him is he can be a contested catch guy. He can catch some tough stuff. I watched his footage. He came back to the ball a lot. He's good on short comeback routes, like out routes. He's really good at coming back to the ball on deep throws. I saw a lot of throws where the quarterback was underthrowing him because he is so fast, and he would locate the ball and come back to it and catch the ball in the air in traffic. He can catch the ball down the field or in the middle of the field with guys around him. His biggest negative is that he doesn't always catch the ball. He kind of, in some ways, and no slight to Deontay Johnson, but reminds me of Deontay, in that he can catch some really difficult stuff in traffic. He can go up with 2 or 3 guys around him in a tight window and make a nice catch. And then on the very next play, he comes back and drops a wide open ball or drops a quick out, drops an important 3rd down. He's known for dropping a lot of balls, a lot of simple stuff, and in a lot of big moments in big games. He drops a lot of important passes. So he's dropping conversion plays. He's dropping in crucial games. That is something you don't want to see. Again, he's got raw talent. He's young. He's quick. But he does drop a lot. Now, I'll say one of his big positives, he can be a gadget guy. He can run off the line of scrimmage. He can do some screen stuff. He was a good screen guy in Philadelphia. And also, he takes short crossers and turns them into bigger plays. He can come off the line of scrimmage and go across the field, 3 to 5 yards down the field, match up against a slot corner or an inside linebacker, beat them off the ball, catch the ball 3 to 5 yards down the field and turn it into a 10 to 12 yard play. So Quez Watkins can take short plays and turn them into long plays. He's got upside. The problem is, like I said, he does drop. He's very inconsistent with his hands. His route tree is a bit limited. And for a team that already has a Van Jefferson as a 4th wide receiver and is trying to figure out Calvin Austin, I don't really understand this signing. To bring in another wide receiver 4 for a team that needs a wide receiver 2/3 to be consistently playing, I don't know if Quez Watkins is going to be on the field all that much, especially when his deep threat is the same big positive that Van Jefferson has. So I'm not sure about why, but I do like Quez Watkins. I watched him in Philadelphia, and I enjoyed him overall. I think he was underused in Philadelphia, as they, of course, had A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So we can see what he can do. He's a young guy that's fast, and he can make some plays. So he's going to add something to this offense, but how consistently and how much, we don't really know yet. Pittsburgh then went out and signed a third-string quarterback. Pittsburgh has stayed very busy with our quarterbacks this offseason. Of course, letting go of Mitch Trubisky, letting go of Mason Rudolph, trading Kenny Pickett away, bringing in Russell Wilson, and then trading for Justin Fields. So now we add to Russell Wilson and Justin Fields with a proven third-string quarterback, Kyle Allen. He's played in the NFL for 6 seasons. He's played for 4 total teams: Carolina, Washington, Houston, and Buffalo. He started 19 games so far in his NFL career. In those 19 games, he has a 7-12 record, so he's won 7 games and lost 12. In those 6 seasons, he has 441 completions out of 704 attempts. That is a 62.6 career completion percentage. Try saying that 3 times fast. 4,734 yards, 26 touchdowns, 21 picks. I saw a lot of online criticism for why'd we sign this guy? Why'd we sign this guy? This signing, much like all of our signings do online, got a lot of backlash and criticism. What did you want this guy to be? We're not going to sign Patrick Mahomes as our third-string quarterback. He is a third-string guy who's been in the NFL for a while. He started some games and he's won some NFL games. What do you want your third-string quarterback to be? If we're down to our third-string quarterback and Kyle Allen's playing on the field, we're in trouble anyway. That means Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are both hurt. If Kyle Allen's on the field, we're in trouble. But I dare say Kyle Allen is one of the better, more experienced third-string quarterbacks in the entire league. It's either bringing a guy like Kyle Allen who's won some games in the NFL and passed for 26 touchdowns, or you bring in an undrafted free agent. And what this does is it brings more experience to the room. You now have a former NFL starter as your third-string quarterback, and it also, aside from bringing you experience to the room, takes away your need to draft a third-string quarterback in the draft. Now you don't have to spend a draft pick on a 3rd to 6th round guy to bring another body into the room. You have your 3 guys, and you don't have to waste one of your draft picks and valuable capital on a quarterback that you know you're not going to play right away. We have 3 veteran quarterbacks now, and if we decide it doesn't work next year, we can draft someone next year. So I like this for a depth signing. It's an experienced, proven guy who's won NFL games, who is now our third-string quarterback. Takes a need out of a backup quarterback in the draft. I like it. Again, every quarterback's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. We also signed who I think is the most impactful and the most immediate of our needs, and that is Dean Lowry, the defensive lineman, DN/D tackle, Dean Lowry. Dean Lowry, and I apologize for the background noise. The background's going crazy out here. Dean Lowry has played in the NFL for 8 seasons, 7 of those years for Green Bay, and then last year in Minnesota. Dean Lowry is a dual-threat guy. He can be a quarterback pass rusher and be effective in the passing game, can also be a run stuffer and a tackler in the run game. Dean Lowry, in 8 NFL seasons, has 84 starts in 120 NFL games. He has 266 tackles, 23 tackles for a loss, 15.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 5 fumble recoveries, 17 pass deflections, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. So this is a veteran guy that does it all. We needed another impact player on the D-line. I've been saying it all offseason. We need somebody that feels more sure for us. Nothing against Loudermilk, who's been solid. Nothing against DeMarvin Leal, who's got potential but fell backwards last year. Nothing against Montravis Adams, who's been a solid starter. We need more consistency and more consistent play out of a veteran guy. We had to add somebody on the line, and I think Dean Lowry is a guy, again, he's got 84 starts in his career, has been very impactful. Like I said, tackles for a loss, quarterback sacks, stuffs in the run game. He's got like 23 stuffs in the run game. Again, that 17 pass deflections is good because we've seen Cam Hayward do a lot of that. We've seen TJ Watt do a lot of that. And we've seen the most effective parts of Montravis Adams and Isaiah Loudermilk's game over the past several years being pass deflections, knocking the ball down at the line of scrimmage, batted balls. Super important. Also, 1 forced fumble, 5 fumble recoveries, 1 pick. He gets turnovers. He is an effective, diverse guy who can rush the quarterback, can stuff the running back, can get tackles for a loss. He is a guy with a big motor, a guy that size that is now, again, coming into his 9th season in the league, proven long-term starter, a guy that can be a spot starter, a guy that can come in off the bench and make an impact. This is the kind of depth signing we need. This is a proven guy that's a playmaker who's going to help this line. This also might mean the end for either Loudermilk or Leal. DeMarvin Leal was drafted, I think, in the 3rd round several years ago, had a lot of promise coming out and has not been very good in the last year or so. Isaiah Loudermilk has been a solid bench guy, and as has Montravius Adams, but you needed someone to push those guys. And now with him coming in, he's a guaranteed guy that makes the roster and pushes the young guys either to get better or to be gone. I like this signing a lot. Again, it takes another need off the draft board. We had to add somebody on the D-line, but that need was not as pressing as corner, as tackle, as center, as wide receiver. We took a backup D-lineman need off the board, a 4th to 5th round pick we were going to have to use. Now we have a proven guy that's played in the NFL, started 84 games. So I like this signing more than any of the others. And finally, one more signing Pittsburgh made, I think, just yesterday, bringing in Cordarrelle Patterson the same day, within several hours of the NFL changing their kick return rules to match the XFL's kick return rules to get more returns out of their returners. Pittsburgh signs the best active kick returner in the NFL, the best since Devin Hester. Devin Hester was an all-time guy, and since he retired, there's been nobody better than Cordarrelle Patterson. He is a 3-time kick returning Pro Bowler. He has led the NFL 3 different times in kick return yards. There is no one better to do it than Cordarrelle Patterson. He gets signed to a 2-year, $6 million deal. Now you say that sounds like a lot for a third running back, right? Because you know he's not going to be our running back over Najee Harris or Jalen Warren. But there's a lot of reasons for this. Again, the NFL just changed the kick return rules to get more returns, and Patterson is the best. I did not write down all of Patterson's stats because he has played 11 seasons in the NFL, coming into his 12th year. He is an aging guy, but he's still very fast and very strong for a guy with 11 years experience. In his 11 seasons, he played for 5 different teams. He has been a very competent journeyman in multiple spots. Started his career at wide receiver, did a lot of wide receiver, did some little bit of outside stuff, mostly slot receiver stuff, a ton of returns, and then transitioned to running back, where he's played the last several years in Atlanta and been effective in Atlanta under Arthur Smith as head coach. Our new offensive coordinator was Cordarrelle Patterson's head coach, and Patterson was effectively used and had a career renaissance at running back in Atlanta up until last year, because 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they just drafted Tyler Algier, and then last year they drafted Bijan Robinson in the first round. So, of course, those are going to be the guys. So there was no space for Patterson there. But Cordarrelle Patterson's got over 2,500 yards rushing, and I think 22 touchdowns rushing, and then also like 2,700 yards receiving and 17 touchdowns receiving in his career. So the guy is an effective wide receiver, an effective running back, and a running back who can catch the ball out of the backfield. Good screen guy, good guy to line up all over the field. Good gadget guy as well, can take the ball off the line of scrimmage to run. Again, he's got a combination of power and speed. He's got kind of like not quite as strong as Najee Harris, not quite as electrifying at this age as Jalen Warren, but he can be a guy that can be a change of pace back. He can give your guys carries. God forbid, knock on wood, if somebody gets hurt, he can step in as a starting running back. He can also receive the ball, in the slot and stuff like that. But again, kick returns. It is a very, very valuable guy to have on your team for special teams, in addition to spelling some guys, getting some carries out of the backfield. So a veteran presence who's going to make special teams a whole lot better. Now, with these signings, I did have one question. I'm looking at some of the offensive signings, right? You bring in a Van Jefferson, who could be your 4th receiver, who's going to be a blocker, who can add a downfield deep ball element to the team. You sign a Quez Watkins, who has a lot of similar attributes in speed and downfield ability as a Calvin Austin. He's not quite as reliable in his hands as a contested catch guy, but can make contested catches and is very fast. Then you bring in a Cordarrelle Patterson, who can also, like Quez Watkins, be a gadget guy, can catch the ball out of the backfield on screens, can do some different things off the line of scrimmage, and can be a kick returner. What does that leave? I'm sorry, I keep saying, kick returner. What does that leave for Calvin Austin? Because Calvin Austin has been specializing in, he got a few carries here and there, but he really is a, catch the ball at the line of scrimmage kind of guy, make some plays, do some short comeback stuff, do some of the route tree stuff that Quez Watkins does. Also, as a returner, doing what Cordarrelle Patterson does. Now, Patterson doesn't really do kick returns as much, punt returns as much, whereas Calvin Austin is a punt return guy. Is that all Austin's going to be here for? Because now having so many similar guys as far as speed and deep threats. You have, Quez, you have Jefferson, you have Patterson, you have Austin. You have a lot of guys who do similar things to Calvin Austin. Austin's only separation right now, besides his age and high ceiling potential, are these punt returns. So what does that mean for Calvin Austin? Are we setting up for a Calvin Austin trade? Calvin Austin has been talked about and linked to a potential trade along with a first-round pick for a guy like a Brandon Ayuk or a Justin Jefferson. This makes it interesting for Calvin Austin. But that being said, Pittsburgh adds Quez Watkins, a wide receiver 4, who's got speed. They add a third quarterback, taking a draft need off the board. They add a backup defensive end / D tackle, mostly a D end, in Dean Lowry, who takes a draft need off the board, and Cordero Patterson, who is our third running back / kick returner in free agency. 4 guys, 4 veterans at good prices that can do some different things. Pittsburgh continues to stay busy. What do you think of these pickups? Which one is most valuable to you and why? I'm saying Dean Lowry. I think he's going to be an impact player this year and solidify our D-line. But what do you guys think of these 4 guys? And who else do you think we should be going after right now? Is the Tyler Boyd stuff dead? Is there a potential trade for Calvin Austin in the works? Could we bring in a Brandon Ayuk now with the extra wide receivers and running backs in the room? What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like these Steeler Deep Dive videos. And I'm bringing you guys more stuff coming up. I got a film review coming up this week. Plenty more Steeler stuff around the corner as I start doing my mock drafts and talking about who Pittsburgh should go after and in what order and what this could mean for draft day trades and draft day capital. Stay tuned, guys, and I'll see you soon.